Reports are emerging that the Toronto Raptors will not be trading Scottie Barnes in any deal for Kevin Durant, and many NBA fans are wondering why. So in today's video, we're going to go through why the Raptors are not going to be going all out to acquire the Brooklyn Nets wannabe superstar. Let's get into it. What's going on, NBA and Raptors fans? It's Jacob here, back with Amateur Hour Sports for another Toronto Raptors YouTube video. On this channel, I bring you the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news, and I'm going to be doing it all throughout the offseason, so be sure to be subscribed to the channel. Help us on a road now to 15,000 subscribers. What an achievement, guys. We just hit 10,000 subscribers on this channel. Super grateful for this community, but I'm not stopping anytime soon. Also, be sure to drop a like on this video if you find yourself enjoying along the way. So let's get into our content for today, talking about the Raptors and the possible move for Kevin Durant. We've spoken a lot about it over the course of the week, and for the right reason. Kevin Durant is the name that everybody is following right now. It's all over Twitter. Like every minute of every day, people are talking about Kevin Durant. And when people are talking about Kevin Durant, they're also talking about the Raptors. When they're talking about the Raptors, they are talking about Scottie Barnes, because that is the player that Brooklyn want. It seems to me like if Brooklyn could handpick any player to acquire within this trade, they are looking to get Scottie Barnes, of course, other than, the complete untouchable players, like the guys like Giannis, the guys like Luka Doncic. But it seems like the Brooklyn Nets really want to get Scottie Barnes. We've been saying on this channel, I've been seeing a lot of Raptors fans online as well. We've all been saying the Raptors should not be trading Scottie Barnes in this deal for Kevin Durant. And most of the people within the Raptors fan community, they would agree with this. Or some people who do not agree, and I understand your train of thought. It's Kevin Durant, like it's Kevin freaking Durant. Like you're going to do anything necessary to get Kevin Durant, because by making that trade, you're putting yourself in a position to win a championship. You're putting yourself in a good position to win a championship. But it's not that simple. It cannot just be that simple that it is Kevin Durant, because this is Scottie Barnes, and Scottie Barnes just won Rookie of the Year, and he's already exceeded expectations so heavily. Like, that is a guy that is worth hanging on to, in my opinion, because Scottie Barnes just won Rookie of the Year. He's showcased to be the best rookie in a very loaded class of players. I mean, you got the likes of Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley who are sniffing around that award. Any other year, those guys are going to be winning that award, but Scottie Barnes won it ahead of them. I'm not saying they're bad players. They are great players, but Scottie Barnes is also a great player, and the Raptors are holding out hope that this is going to be the cornerstone of the franchise going forward. It may not be this season, but this is somebody that, honestly, you're looking at, this could be a player who gets 7 to 10 All-Star appearances over the course of his career. And that gives you a much longer window of success than a 34-year-old Kevin Durant does. Now, the risk associated with keeping Scottie Barnes and not trading for Kevin Durant is the fact that, Kevin Durant, guarantees you a very real window this year and probably next year as well. I mean, there's some injury troubles with Kevin Durant over the last few years that you probably are going to be a little bit concerned about, but this guy averaged 30 points per game last season on very efficient shooting, 52% from the field, 38% from three. This is no doubt a top 5 player in the NBA. Some would argue he is the best player in the NBA, but for somebody who is seriously going to, you expect at this point to carry your franchise, you would expect is going to earn a 5-year supermax at 2 years on in his career, when he gets to his third season, the end of his third season. That is somebody, in my opinion, worth hanging on to. And the reality is, as far as Scottie Barnes goes, no other team in the NBA will trade somebody as close to the valuation of Scottie Barnes. I mean, the chatter we're hearing around the NBA, there's no offer with anybody close to the level of Scottie Barnes in terms of trade value, so the Raptors aren't pressured in this scenario to make that trade involving Scottie Barnes, nor should they. In my opinion, the sustained success and contention is very important to this team, to be able to sustain that level of play for your team for such a long time, for a decade, is worth it, and that's the way Scottie Barnes is projecting. Now, the story becomes a little bit different. If you can 100% absolutely guarantee a championship next year as Kevin Durant, that story becomes a little bit different, because in my opinion, it's worth going all out to get that one championship and not being good for the rest of that decade or something like that. But you cannot guarantee that championship. You just can't guarantee that. So extending your window is probably a little bit smarter, in my opinion. Also, based on the valuation other teams have for Durant, there's no need to trade Scottie Barnes. So the focus of this trade now shifts towards other players in the Raptors, because the Phoenix Suns are a little bit of trouble in this situation here. We go to some other teams who may be interested in Durant. You've got maybe the Heat, the Celtics, the Sixers. Quickly going through them again, the Heat, They can't trade Bam Adebayo without a lot of difficulty. Tyler Hero is not enough to get this trade done. They are out. The Boston Celtics just made the NBA Finals. They just made their team a lot better by adding in Malcolm Brogdon. Do they want to trade Jaylen Brown and break up that core? I don't think so. So they're going to be out. The Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, not a lot they can trade other than James Harden, who's working on a contract. Like there's just nobody they're able to trade to make this trade happen. They're going to be out of these discussions. Now you go to the Phoenix Suns, the team that is still favored to land Kevin Durant through a trade, still favored to be the next team that he plays for. Now the thing about the Phoenix Suns is that a lot of complications are about to open up here because DeAndre Ayton is eligible for any offer sheet, and this could be a big problem for the Phoenix Suns. We spoke about in my previous video that it's already going to be a problem for the Suns because there was a base year compensation on DeAndre Ayton's contract. What that means is that, I'll quickly say it again, for salary matching, Phoenix only have to take back 50% of whatever DeAndre Ayton signs for, but the Brooklyn Nets still have to salary match 100% of that contract. So it's likely 3 or 4 teams are going to need to be involved in order to make that DeAndre Ayton trade work for Kevin Durant, if it works at all. And if an offer sheet comes his way that is pretty lucrative, in fact, too much for the Phoenix Suns to really match or want to match, because, you know, if the offer sheet comes in, the Phoenix Suns have the choice to match or not because he is a restricted free agent. They'll have to decide, like, is it worth matching? Like, are we going to be able to get this trade done? Like, if they're matching, they're expecting to be able to trade DeAndre Ayton. Or they could decide it's not worth the risk, and DeAndre Ayton could just be on another team, and Phoenix Suns all of a sudden would have nobody to offer for Kevin Durant because Devin Booker, not only can he not be traded to Brooklyn, they would not trade Devin Booker to Brooklyn. So that could put the Raptors in a very good position here. And all of a sudden, the conversation shifts away from Scottie Barnes. Now it is going to be shifting towards Pascal Siakam. People want the Raptors to trade Pascal Siakam in this discussion. And a lot of Raptors fans that I've seen online here, we're a little bit split here. Personally, I'll get into my thoughts in just a second. You guys spoke in the poll and said that, you know, most of you would probably not do it, but a good amount of you would, like, very even. A good amount of you would want to trade Pascal Siakam in order to get Kevin Durant. Now, I completely understand that side of it. Like, trading Scottie Barnes, that one, I'm like, absolutely no way. For Pascal Siakam, it's like, okay, if we do it, wouldn't be the most happy, but okay. We got Kevin Durant, let's go do this thing. That's not how I would feel if we were to trade Scottie Barnes. But let me tell you why the Raptors don't have to trade Pascal Siakam in this discussion. Because, again, my same opinion with Scottie Barnes and how no team is going to match that value. No team is going to be matching the value of Pascal Siakam. Like the Suns, is DeAndre Ayton or Mikal Bridges as good as Pascal Siakam? No, I would say they're not even really close to the level of talent of Siakam, who just made the All-NBA third team. You go to Miami, is Tyler Hero there? No, not even close. Is Jaylen Brown there? Like, okay, sure, they're probably on a similar tier of players. I would say Siakam's slightly better, but that's an arguable case, 100%. Boston aren't trading him. Like, nobody is going to give a player as good as Siakam, so why do the Raptors have to be the one to trade that lucrative player in order to make this deal happen? Like, the only other team that could do this is the New Orleans Pelicans, who don't seem to have any sort of interest in these Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Like, if New Orleans really get involved in these trade talks, like, and they trade Brandon Ingram, some young stars, they can make this trade happen, but it hasn't been apparent that the Pelicans are interested in making this trade. They want to ride out that core. There is no team offering better than Siakam, or I would say really very much close to Siakam. So there's no need for the Raptors to make that trade. And in my opinion, you know, if we're looking at these teams, like, you know, Miami and Phoenix are obviously the big ones in this discussion. You know, Phoenix can't trade Devin Booker unless there's a third team involved because he's a designated player, as is Ben Simmons. But like, even if they could, Phoenix would not trade Booker. And we all know that we would all agree and say that Phoenix should not trade Booker in this discussion because Kevin Durant needs to play with Devin Booker. And that makes complete sense. You need to have a good players around Kevin Durant. You know, for Miami, they're obviously not even going to trade Jimmy Butler. That name hasn't even come up in any conversations because, well, Kevin Durant needs to go play with Jimmy Butler. So for the Raptors, Pascal Siakam is our best player. He was an All-NBA third-team guy. Well, we're not trading Pascal Siakam because Kevin Durant needs to play with Pascal Siakam. That's the same energy that we should be keeping with Siakam that other teams are keeping with their stars. Kevin Durant is coming here to play with that specific player. And, you know, the two-way competitiveness that Pascal Siakam offers, like a very, very good defender, that might fit better with Kevin Durant on the team anyways. And the final thing is that, you know, for people who are saying, like I've seen online on all these ESPN shows and just on social media in general, like, this is Kevin Durant. Why would the Raptors not go all out to make this trade happen? The Raptors are not going to go all out to make this trade happen because they don't have to. time is on our side here. We have a very young core, a very young and ascending core, and we're kind of barely scratching the surface of what this team is capable of. We don't need to go and make this trade. Although Brooklyn fans are saying, or just people in general saying, Brooklyn would be like, oh, if you're not going to give us Pascal Siakam, Scottie Barnes, we're just not going to trade you Kevin Durant. Okay, that's fine. We don't need him. We don't need him. Like, we're not going to win a championship in the next 2 years if we don't have him. Like, that's just not going to happen realistically, and I understand that, and I'm comfortable with that. I am super comfortable with the level of talent that this current core has. So you can say all you want that Brooklyn are just going to hold out for the right trade. Like, if you don't want to give Barnes or Siakam, you're not going to get Kevin Durant. That's fine. In my opinion, if the Brooklyn Nets want to be stubborn in these discussions and hold out like that, that's only a detriment to them, because they got to worry about, all this extra nonsense going on their team. They got to hang on to Kevin Durant, and that saga just continues. It's a bigger distraction for the team that they have. They waste time on building a new core around whoever they get in the Kevin Durant trade and Ben Simmons. It's more of a detriment to Brooklyn to do that than it is to us, because the Raptors are going to be completely fine without him. Sure, that puts a lot more reliance on Scottie Barnes to develop and get to the level where he can kind of carry this team, but we're going to bank on that, and we're comfortable to bank on that. Brooklyn, I believe it is within their best interest to get a trade done this offseason so that this doesn't carry over into the season and cause further distraction. And Nets ownership, I'm telling you, is completely fed up with this situation and want it to be over with. The Raptors have their cards on the table, and they're comfy with what they have. The Brooklyn Nets, they can be stubborn all they want and pretend like, they're just going to hold on to Kevin Durant, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that, and it's going to look really bad on them, I think, if they wait it out. Now, I'm not saying take any bad offer, but there is no threat towards the Raptors to offer all of these just crazy packages in order to make this happen, because they simply do not have to. We're comfy with what we have. If you think the Raptors should trade Siakam for Durant, that's a fine opinion to have. In my opinion, I personally wouldn't, because I personally do not think we have to. I trust this core. I trust this team. We do not need to go and make a trade. We have the ability to contend in the future with what we have, and I'm completely okay with that. So what do you guys make of all these Kevin Durant rumors? Do you think the Raptors should trade Siakam for Kevin Durant, or do you agree with me? We don't have to. We can offer up OG and Gary Trent. If they say no, we're completely fine with it. We'll be comfortable with the current roster that we have for the future. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because that is it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please, if you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like. When you drop a like, it lets YouTube know that other people out there with similar interests to you may also enjoy this video, and therefore it is recommended to more people. Takes you a second to drop a like, helps me out a ton. And make sure, if you're new to the channel, you are subscribed as well for the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news. Thank you so much for 10K subscribers. Really appreciate it, guys. I really did not think I would ever get here when I started making YouTube videos, and this is just surreal. The fact that we've grown this community organically around our love for the Raptors is outstanding. Just want to let you guys know, not going anywhere anytime soon. I love making these videos. I love that you guys watch the videos, and I love that you love watching the videos. We're gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep making them. Hopefully you stick around for what's in store in the future. I'll see you again next time for another video.